Okay, while that's happening, so here, now if I want to trade that, I can trade that on the chart same way as I did anything else. I'll make this chart a little bigger so I can do buy and sell the same as I did with stocks. So alternative is I can right-click, select trade. Sorry, some of the windows are coming up on the other screen. And I can trade options here, assuming the broker I'm using supports them. Again, same way as I would any stock. And again, if I wanted to just enter the symbol right in here, I can click on the option, change selector, and pick a stock. Let's see here. The question was, would you please discuss Forex trade board? There are some things I'm not sure what Forex trade board is.
I don't know. I'm not sure either. So, is there not? There's nothing for Forex, correct?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Fred, maybe you can give me an example. I mean, a symbol or something? Okay, while we're waiting for Fred, I'm going to answer, let's see, Alan asked, when I go to my account, the login for Ally comes up. I enter in username and password and send invalid. A common problem, I see, since a lot of people in this group are using MB Trading, well, a common problem is that for Ally Invest, there's two different systems. One is the main Ally Invest system, which used to be Trade King, and the other is MB Trading. And right now, they're two completely separate systems, and they do not, they cannot be interchanged. Well, Medved Trader supports both. So, for example, if I open a portfolio, look at a portfolio toolbar, in the quote sources, there's two different sources available, Ally Invest and Ally Invest MBT. Well, if you have an MBT account and you select Ally Invest, what's going to happen is you're going to get a login box, something like this. If you try to log in with your MBT login, it will fail. So first of all, make sure you have the correct quote source selected as Ally Invest MBT. The other thing is, if you have that selected and you're still getting that Ally Invest login box, the most common issue is that you selected Ally Invest as your news source. So go to Settings, select News on the left side, and make sure that Ally Invest is not checked. There is no news option for the MBT accounts. It's currently not supported. We hope to have it in the future. But right now, make sure this is not checked. Otherwise, if I do check it, I will probably get a login box. Okay, so that's a common problem. So just close the login box, go to Settings, uncheck Ally Invest, and click OK. Another question was, the quotes in my portfolio are stops. It says click on button to start stop on the left side of the portfolio ribbon. I can't bring up or find the ribbon. Well, that's the part which I just had it shown here. The default layout had the ribbon hidden. In Medved Trader, all windows have what's called, we call a ribbon toolbar. So, for example, on the chart, you have that right here on the top. On the portfolio, by default, we have that also. But since you don't want to waste all that space all the time, we let you hide it. So this button right here on the top of each window, if you click on it, or notice if you hover over it, it gives you a shortcut, F11. If you click on it, it hides the ribbon toolbar. Or if you hit F11. So By default, the portfolio right now doesn't have the ribbon showing, so you want to show it. And then if this button says start, the quotes aren't running. If you click the button, the quotes start running. This is also the place to change quote sources. So if you want to use, if you have a mirror trade account, for example, instead of Ally Invest, you go in here, change it to TD Ameritrade, and you'll get a login password. And let me log in. So you can now, I can now switch between two different quote sources. By the way, with just as a quick reminder, as far as ribbons, other than hiding and showing, you can also just minimize. So if I double click on one of the tabs on the ribbon toolbar, like I'm going to double click on main, now instead of hiding it, it just minimizes it. So when you click on the tab, it shows the contents. When you click off, just the tab is shown instead of the entire ribbon. Double click again and it shows all the time. Okay, let's see here. What I'm oh, Fred, I understand what Forex stands for. Forex. I'm sorry, Fred. Right now in Medved Trader or Ally Invest Forex accounts are not supported. However, Medved Trader can trade Forex. You have to enter or at least get quotes. Let me see if my account is enabled. I don't remember. All right, so here's a, you have to enter Forex symbols in Medved Trader format, which is starting with £, and then the two currencies separated by a period. We do support some brokers that allow trading, but not all. For example, Interactive Brokers, and I think Gain, and we do Forex.com. Let's see here. You know what, Kip, maybe you could give me whichever questions you want me to answer so I don't have to look through the list in the Skype window.
Yeah, I'll go back up and look and see.
Okay, how do you add a blue arrow? Oh, that was the other question was, I'll take Michael's. How do you add the blue arrow on top of the bar to add multiple frequencies? One of the other things about our ribbon toolbars is that they're also customizable. Right now you see 1, 2, 3 things in the top of the caption on the chart. Well, all of that is configurable. So for example, if I want to add, if I want to frequently change the frequency on the chart, no pun intended, but I don't want to constantly have the ribbon toolbar visible, I can put this option on the what's called quick access toolbar, which is this area on the Windows caption. I right-click on the frequency, select Add to Quick Access Toolbar, and you see now that option is there. I can now hide the ribbon and still get to the frequency control. Now, the other thing is I can do, instead of adding, well, first let me remove that. I can add individual items. So if I frequently change between 1 minute and 30 minutes, I can add the 1 minute option and 30-minute option. And then I can just switch between them by just clicking them directly. So as you can see, this is very customizable. And you can do that for almost any item on the toolbar, and be it in charts or on the portfolio. All these items have the right-click menus for add quick to quick access toolbar. And you can also add the entire section. So for example, the drawing tool, drawing tools. If I want to add the entire drawing tool section to the quick access toolbar, I right-click on where it says drawing tools, add to quick access toolbar. Now I have that blue arrow. Let me hide the ribbon. Now I have that blue arrow, and I can say draw, let's see, Fibonacci retracements or oval. Okay? Let's see.
Let me go back up, and I know we've probably missed a couple questions.
John
wants to know about how do we adjust our columns upon options for showing delta and some of the other Greeks.
Okay, for that you want to, right now I have the portfolio set to show tiles. We can change how the portfolio is displayed in the portfolio view tab. Let me see right here on the view tab, I can select display, and I can select different display modes. So right now I have, I think, this one. I can change it to, let's say, charts, or we can change it to standard grid. So with standard grid, I can pick which columns. Let me make a little bit more room here. I can change which columns are displayed. Now, let's say I do not want to use a particular column. I want to remove it. I can either right-click on a column header and select Remove Column, or I can just start dragging the column, drop it into the trash can, and then I want to add a column. I right-click on any column header and select Choose the Column Chooser. A window comes up with a list of available columns that are not already there, and I select the Greeks that I want to add. Now, the thing is, not all data feeds support all columns. So the Greeks, for example, are not supported on the regular level 1 data feed from Medved Trading. For some other brokers, they are, or some other data feeds. However, I believe we have them supported on the option chain. So let me right-click on SPY, for example, and select option chain. And in here, I can do the same thing. I can right-click on the column header, select column chooser, and select delta. And I think it's not available for the current month, but it is for other months. So notice I am drag and drop. I'm using drag and drop to put the column onto the grid. So I drag the column and put it wherever I want. I don't think number of trades is available for the options, but so I'm going to remove it. Okay. How to this? I'll skip some of the other questions very quick. How to display 2 watch lists at once? I have one watch list displayed right here, watch list or portfolio. I go to the dashboard, either on the main dashboard window or on the mini dashboard, and select Open Portfolio and select the other one. If I don't have the other one, I can select New Portfolio, New Watch List. It opened on another screen. So let's say If, let's say I don't have it open, I can just say open portfolio, watch list, and now I have 2 windows. Okay, let me go back to the top to the questions. Let's see, no arrows on the...
Hey, Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes.
For somebody that has a broker that's not in your list, that you're not integrated with, can they send you a request to see if you can try to get an agreement with that broker?
I mean, they can send a request, but in general, we need the broker's cooperation. Now, for some brokers, for quotes only, we can kind of reverse engineer things. In fact, for TD Ameritrade, we initially, back 20 years ago, reverse engineered everything, and then eventually they cooperated, and then they actually eventually bought one of our products. But in general, we now require cooperation for most brokers. So if they send us a request, we can try to get a hold of the broker. Not all do. For example, we've been trying to get Schwab and Fidelity to add support to allow us to connect forever, and it's just not happening.
Right.
But we can try. Some of the cryptocurrency brokers are a lot more flexible. Most of them have APIs. Most of the stock trading stuff, guys, do not.
Okay. Which broker, Linda, do you have?
I'm sorry?
I'm just curious. She was just...
Oh.
No, Linda had a question of... I was just asking her which broker she has, just to see if it's anybody you've talked to. She was requesting access from her broker. Oh, she has Schwab. Yeah, and you said you've been working with Schwab, but they... I mean,
Schwab eventually, they are actually working on an API that they will have at some point in the future, most likely not in 2018. They've been working on integrating Option Express and some other stuff, so things get kind of put on a back burner. But supposedly, eventually, they'll have it. Ameritrade, we have full integration, so you should be able to use it now.
Very good, thank you. I noticed on the ribbon you cannot add the custom interval, correct? The custom frequency.
I'm sorry?
It won't let you. The question from Michael about adding the custom frequency to the ribbon.
You can add the option for the custom frequency. So, for example, you can add this right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess not.
It doesn't let you.
Yeah, because there's a problem with saving. That some data is harder to save internally than others, so I think that's why we didn't. But if you email me and remind me, I can check if we can maybe make that. But in general, keep in mind, in all of the menus, we show the keyboard shortcuts. So, for example, you don't even have to. You can just use a keyboard. So if you want a custom, you can Control and 0. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Control. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So right now, let's say I hit 1 minute and I hit Control 0, and it switched to 21 minute, which was my last custom frequency.
It's going to go back to whatever the last one was. Yeah.
Actually, I stand corrected. That's Control equal. Control 0 is not working for some reason, but I will fix that. All right. Let's see. Merrill Lynch. Somebody asked quick about Merrill Lynch. That's not supported. Probably not likely. Getting anything from Bank of America, which is the owner of Merrill Lynch, is next to impossible. Okay. Anybody? Let's see. What's the next question?
So I do want to ask you, and this is just a general question because I know a lot of people have this issue. Sometimes things hide behind other screens, like their dashboard, or they lose the watch list behind the charts. And is there an easy way to get to that?
Okay. By default, we have we have kind of we have what's called child windows, which is the chart, raw data, and some others. By default, they stay on top of portfolio windows, and that's intended because that way things don't get lost. Notice, right, by default also the charts don't have their own icon on the taskbar. You can change the functionality. If you want, you can go to settings, application general. On the screen, we have right here, we have a few different options for that. So first of all, we can say child windows on top. We can uncheck that. I think that option requires a restart or reopening the windows. So let me close the charts, open new ones. So now the portfolio is on top. The thing is, let's say I have the portfolio maximized. Where's the chart? How do you get to that chart, right? There's a few things for to handle that situation. One is on the main dashboard window. Notice there's three things up on top: dashboard, windows, and sources. Sources shows you what current quote sources or trading sources are operational. Windows shows you what Medved Trader windows are currently open. So I can't go in here and double click on the chart and it'll bring it up to the front. But then if I click on portfolio, it gets hidden again. You see why we made the charts always on top?
Yeah.
Well, the other option is if you're going to turn off the child windows on top, you probably want to turn on separate taskbar icon for child windows. And then you see you can get to that window by just clicking it on the Windows taskbar. You see, because now it has a separate icon on the bottom. The reason we don't default it, Medved Trader can show tons of charts. We have some people that literally run 100 charts or more. So if you have a separate icon for each one of them, the taskbar gets unmanageable. So because of that, by default, we turn off that option and just make it so that they stay on top.
Got you. Yeah, because that gets confusing for some people because they can't find stuff. And so
right.
For those that don't use a lot of charts, maybe they want to uncheck that box or or check it, the separate taskbar icon for child windows. That right. way they can get to it from their taskbar if they lose it, because it gets hidden and then they can't find it. So, or they can go up to the dashboard and go to Windows and click on it to get to it as well.
Right. And also, I mean, though you can have multiple charts for a single symbol, by default, if you try to open a chart and there's one already open for the given symbol, it'll bring up the existing one. So right now, the current chart I have open is SPY, right? So let's say if I have it behind the portfolio, if I double click on SPY or any row, anywhere on the row, it'll bring up the existing one. And that's another way to quickly get there.
Okay, that's good.
Somebody asked about three-leg options. Right now, we don't currently support multi-leg options. We will in the future. It's just 28 hours in a day and got to sleep 4 of them.
Let me go back up and just see if there's some questions that.
Yeah.
Diana says, "Can you tell me if I'm doing something wrong on the candlestick charting? The candles get so large when going on higher time intervals."
All right.
And will you open up, maximize that window? Yeah, will you open, that one chart, will you maximize it so we can just see that?
Yeah, let me switch back that so it doesn't get hidden, because otherwise I keep losing that. All right.
Yeah.
I forgot that. All right. Basically, it works like this. When you change the frequency, the chart, in the chart there's 2 pieces to it, the core pieces. One is the period. So like, for example, right now I'm showing the current day. That's the period on a chart. And the other is the frequency, which is the, how much time is on each candle. So if I change the frequency, let's say I change it to 5 minute, the period stays the same. So MT just shows you whatever data is there in whatever frequency. So if you change the frequency to a higher value, there's going to be less candles. You can make it, instead of showing a fixed period, you can have it set to show a fixed number of bars on the chart. So for example, right, instead of current day, and instead of specifying the period in time, let's say 2 hours, in which case it always shows 2 hours no matter what the period frequency is, I can change it to be a fixed number of bars. I can say 100 bars. Now if I change the frequency, the number of bars shown stays the same, and therefore the size of the bar stays the same. But now instead of 1 day, it's showing 2 days, whatever the 100 bars at 5 minutes is going to be. I do 30 minute, now it's many days of data. Somebody asked about layout library designating a second monitor. Right now, the layout library does not remember which monitor was last used. It always defaults to the primary, whatever Windows has designated as a primary monitor. If you email us, as a reminder, I can make it remember the last used monitor. Let's see, the other question, can I see price change for the day on the charts? Sure. We have a few different options for what is shown in the caption of each chart window. So right now I'm showing symbol, the last value, bid and ask. In settings, this is a global setting, and this is only for intraday charts. In settings, under chart display, I can change the intraday caption to be, let's say, change. Or let me see if I have last and change and bid and ask. So now it's showing me symbol, last, change, and bid and ask. I frankly don't like it because it's moving around a little too much, but that works. Let's see here. What other questions here?
Robert wanted to know what email should he send? Support at medvedtrader.
Medvedtrader.com.
.com. Okay.
How to get index panel under the portfolio if you don't already have it? Well, on any portfolio window, we have the indexes tab right up on top. The indexes, you just select show index panel. Note you can select which indexes are shown. You also might want to note that the index panel may have a different source for the data than your primary portfolio. So for example, I have the primary portfolio as Ally Invest MBT. The index panel can be getting data from Ameritrade. For example, my account, right now it happens to have, my MBT account is enabled for the indices, but some other people may not because you have to pay extra. Well, you may use Yahoo or something else for the indices, and this lets you do that. And also, same as on the portfolio, you can change how the indices are displayed. So if I want to see the chart, I can do that.
What time frame is that on the chart?
I can right-click and select. Right now, the chart period is set to 30 minutes. I can change that to, let's say, 1 day. Note the charts shown here are same as what you see kind of in a portfolio, and there's a limited amount of configuration you can do there, but you can right-click on the chart column and change the inline chart period, and there's a few different options there. You can also change the chart period on the toolbar. Okay, here, let's see here. I get the time frame and bid and ask on the large screen, but not the small screen. David, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you were referring to.
Going back to the bid and ask and the last, and that besides at the top of a chart window, is there anywhere else that we can get that on a screen, on a chart, or is that the only place it's available?
All right, let me show that. You have a few different choices. Oh, since you guys, a lot of you are using the option not to see the underlying chart, let me add that and make it so that it's same as all right. So I can go to the View tab on a chart and select Options and have it show the bid and ask lines. Let me zoom in for that. One moment. So right now, you see in the background, there's a bid and ask.
Can you open that full screen?
Oh, right.
Chart.
Sorry. All right. So right now, this is a bid and ask line showing. Now for SPY, it's going to be really tight. It's going to be practically the same as the last. But for some low volume stocks, let me see if I have.
Will you circle them so they can see where's the bid and ask?
I'm sorry?
Can you circle again so we can see where the bid and ask lines are?
Sure.
It's taking a second.
Right now,
load.
keep in mind that if you backfill a chart, if you just add a symbol and backfill, the historical data does not have bid and ask on it for most data feeds. But if the program is getting quotes on the symbol, so if you have the symbol on a chart or in a portfolio, that data does have bid and ask, and that can be charted. So that's why there's no bid and ask here, because I just loaded that symbol. But here, I just started getting quotes on it, so it's able to show the bid and ask. So if I show the actual chart and hide the indicator, here's the ribbon. Here's the candles, but here's the bid and ask. This is a much lower volume stock, so because of that, the bid and ask are.
Yeah, can you change the symbol to something else? Change it to Microsoft.
Sure.
Because that one's really hard to interpret.
Microsoft was in my portfolio, so that's why you see bid and ask data going back. The other option is, other than lines, I can just show bid and ask on the y-axis. You see these green and red dots on the side there? That's what they are. So let's say you don't want to see the lines cluttering your chart. I can turn that off and just show the bid and ask right here on the near the y-axis. I think, let me check one other item. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the horizontal line indicator in MT is actually a gift that just keeps on giving, because you can make it show a lot of different things. I don't remember if bid and ask is there. Okay, bid and ask is not there, but like, let's say you want to have a line across the entire chart for the current last, you can do that. I didn't remember if, so you see that blue line? It's now moving across as the last changes.
I'm sorry, what did you just do?
I added horizontal line indicator, and then in the parameters I specified the value that it's showing. I set it to last. So that way that horizontal line gets updated. Now I can also set it to, let's say, VWAP. Up. So now it's showing, the line is dynamically changing to VWAP. Now I can also make it so that it shows you what that line is, the label, and only show for regular session and show the price. See, now the price is shown. And let's make it so it's a little thicker and yellow. Okay. All right. Let me see here what the other questions are. Go ahead.
Would it be possible to put on a chart screen the indexes? If we wanted to add that, you know how you can add it to a portfolio, to add it to an index, to a chart?
Yes. Let me see. One of the things is the chart lets you show multiple symbols on the chart. You can compare. Let me change this to a little bit prettier chart. 1 second. Let me zoom out. All right. So
can you leave that full
zoomed
screen?
out. I have Microsoft. I wanted to, 1 second, I just wanted to see the symbol. Okay, so let's say the symbol is $SPX.X. I can say, start typing. And instead of hitting OK, which would switch to that symbol, I add it as a compare symbol. So now, SPX. That line is the SPX. Now, whenever you're showing two different symbols, you have to they're going to have different scales. So you have to have a point of reference. By default, the point of reference is always whatever the left edge of the chart. However, we call it the anchor. You can drag it. So you can say, you can start it. See here, it joins them so that they're the chart starts at the same point, and then they diverge from there. So for today, Microsoft is above the SPX. And you can add multiple symbols like that. So let me see what other symbols I have. DJI, right? So the red line is DJI. Now you can do that using typing, or you can add it when you're adding indicators. I just add the compare symbol indicator, and then I specify what the symbol is. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, go ahead.
If we wanted to have maybe some kind of box on a chart that has bid ask last, more detail and bigger, is that possible? Something that we can request?
Well, it is. Let me see here. Not my favorite thing. I don't remember exactly where it is off the top of my head, so I have to look around. One moment. I'm trying to find where the tooltip is. Here we go. All right. One sec. Let me. Okay. So in settings, under general, there's a checkbox for show hover price tooltip. If you check that, then on the chart, as you move the mouse, it shows you the current quote. To me, that hover box irritating, so I always turn it off. And we also don't have
be locked on somewhere though.
I'm sorry?
Show me again where you got that. First of all, show me again where you got that. And okay. Can that be locked on somewhere to a chart?
No, right now it cannot. As far as where it's at, it's the checkbox is right here on the
show hover
charts.
Price tooltip.
And right
that
now
would be great. Well, yeah, that would be great if we could add it somewhere to the chart to like undock it or hover it, stick it on the chart. That would
take a lot of space. What I'm planning to do is let me see here. If you select, let's say, trade ticket, notice we have a kind of a quote panel, and also a balances panel available on the trade ticket. It's also available on the DOM window. One moment. Same idea on the DOM. So what I'm planning to do, I just haven't gotten around to it, is to add those options for charts. To be able to show both quote and balances on the chart, in which case it would show up as just a thin panel across the top.
That would be great. Yeah.
Because then you'd see the exact same thing as you see on the trade ticket.
Okay, when do you think you'll have that available?
28 hours in a day, 4 hours to sleep.
I know. I mean, a couple weeks.
I don't know. It's not an imminent thing. I think the multi-leg options as well as more conditional orders are going to be higher priority than that. But I may be able to.
But knowing that we can do that hover over, that's helpful. That's very helpful. I didn't know that was. Here's the thing I love, Jerry. Y'all's platform is amazing. There's so many little things that you can customize and do. It's just it's the learning. It's that whole process. I got to push and learn and figure it out.
Thank you. We've been working on, well, one way or another for over 20 years, because we started Quote Tracker in '98, then Ameritrade bought it in 2006, and killed it in 2010. Well, when we left Ameritrade after, because when they bought our software, we kind of came with it. Well, after they killed it and after our non-compete ended, we decided to write Medved Trader because there seemed to be a lot of demand, because Ameritrade killed Quote Tracker but didn't fill the demand with anything. So we basically wrote Medved Trader from scratch, doing everything that Quote Tracker did, and then we added a whole bunch of other functionality.
Yeah, well,
so, yeah,
it's great. It's just it's the learning curve, and a lot of the WiseTrade community, they're used to very simplistic. You've seen the WiseTrade software; they're used to very simplistic. So it is a learning curve for all of us, and more for others that are not fluent in using a traditional trading platform like Medved, with traditional indicators and more bells and whistles. They're used to very simplistic. But yeah, I love it.
Tamper down. We've actually been trying to, people keep asking for different features, this thing and that thing. We've always been trying to actually not be putting things in, because it gets even more confusing. If you put in everything everybody asks for, it would be impossible. It would be like, you know what? If you ever used Interactive Brokers, Traders Workstation, that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Right. Where like too many features. But even so, we've still, in some places, we might have gotten a little overboard. But whenever we add things, we're trying to make it simple yet flexible. Combining both of those features is the difficult part. It's very easy to make something easy. It's very easy to make something flexible. It's very hard to do both.
Right.
Somebody, Deanna,
how much more
asked
time
about.
Do you have?
I'm sorry.
How much more time do you have? I don't want to. I just want to.
I'm
take
flexible. I can go over past noon, so that's not a big deal.
Okay. So
Deanna asked about quotes on level 2, account view, and etc. not being in sync. Well, here's the thing with Medved Trader, you may have already noticed that we can get data from multiple places. Now, that's a good thing, but sometimes it can add confusion. So let me explain. Let me bring up an account view. Do I have a trade? All right. So here's an account view window. We have an account view window, a portfolio window, chart, and let's say level 2. On that. Well, here's the thing. On the portfolio window, you can specify where data is coming from. On the level 2 window, you can specify where data is coming from, and this data right here should definitely match this data in a portfolio if they're using the same quote source. I'm sorry. The thing is, for the account view, if the account view is for an account, let's say from Ameritrade instead of MB Trading, then by default it'll use Ameritrade quotes. Now let's say you're one of your Ameritrade account. Now Ameritrade doesn't have delayed data, but let's say I have the quotes here from Ameritrade. And let's say your MBT account doesn't have real-time data, so it's got delayed data. Well, Amazon on the portfolio will show real-time data, while Amazon on the account view will show delayed because it's coming from your delayed account. We have a workaround for that, and if you go to settings, now the quotes showing on the positions are coming from Ameritrade. But however, we recommend people not do that unless they know what they're doing, because sometimes they would set it to Yahoo or something and then wonder why the quotes are messed up. So let me change that back to none. That's the most common reason why quotes get messed up. Also, just if you have multiple accounts, if you can get quotes in one portfolio from Ameritrade, let's say, another one from Ally Invest, that's fine. Make sure you don't have the same symbols in both portfolios, because if the symbol is getting data from two sources at the same time, things will get screwed up, especially on the time and sales window. Okay? Any other, let's see here. Hold on a second. I think I lost track of the question list. Oh boy, there's been a lot since I... Kip, you want to tell me which ones you want me to answer right now?
Yeah, hold on. There are so many. So, Paul says his index bar is hidden. However, I cannot locate it. Can you show again how you go to the settings, to the dashboard to pull up something that might be hidden?
Sure. Let's say I have the dashboard by default is auto minimize. So whenever you do an action, it minimizes or hides. If you don't have your main dashboard visible, first of all, you can always hit the hidden keyboard shortcut, Shift F12, to bring up the main dashboard. 2, you can find the dashboard on the taskbar. So here I have it on the bottom left, and just click it and bring up the dashboard.
But that sources, the button that has sources on it, will you show that one?
Yes.
Was that the one?
Right.
No, window. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the one, right? Was it Windows or sources? I can't remember.
Right. So on the main dashboard, the dashboard view is just these tiles to get to different places in the program. The Windows view shows you what the open windows are for the given currently open windows within the program. You can sort them. So for example, let's say you have a lot of, let's say I open all the charts. Hold on a second. They're opening on another screen. So let's say you made a mess, basically, and you have a lot of windows open. Hang on one second. Boy, I really made a mess. So let's say I have a lot of windows open, and I just want to close all charts. So I go to the dashboard. I have all these charts. I say sort by type. I can highlight. I just click and drag, highlight all the charts. Right click, close. And they're all closed now. Or if I have a chart and I don't remember where it's at, maybe it's behind level 2 or something, I can go to the dashboard, double click on intraday chart, and it should bring it to the front. Or if I had it minimized, let's say, I double click on intraday chart, it should restore it and bring it to front. Okay? The other thing was on the dashboard views, the sources view. So, for example, right now, if you have a problem, you're not sure if you're connected or, if there's a connection issue, you can always go to sources and see, okay, what's going on. You have, in the case you have trading, you'll have one line item for the quotes and another line item for the trading for the same source. So like LIMBT, this is for the quotes, and it's showing you I'm getting 9 level 1 quotes, 1 level 2 quote. And from a mirror trade, I'm getting 17 level 1 quotes. That's because I have these symbols coming in from a mirror trade.
So, hey, Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry, he has the dashboard. So that I know there's two different dashboards. There's the main dashboard, and then there's the pop-out dashboard. The pop-out dashboard is not going to have that. Remember, we talked about adding those to it?
Right. The main dashboard has the dashboard itself, but then it has the other functionality. And this is the main window within the application. It's always there. You cannot close it. I mean, you can try closing it, but basically that just minimizes it.
Right, okay. But if they click the other, we call it the Rubik's Cube, is what we've termed it, the little icon.
I didn't know what to call it, but yeah, that's a good one.
It looks like a little Rubik's
we can always
Cube.
Get to the kind of mini dashboard, and that's up on top.
But that doesn't give you those choices.
Right. That's correct. This just gives you just the dashboard view.
So to get to that,
the main window gives you the other views.
So they need to hit F12 on their keyboard to get to it, correct?
Right. F12, either clicking on this or hitting F12 gets you the mini dashboard. And as a quick way to find the main dashboard, if you hit Shift F12, that will bring up the main dashboard window. And that can be done on any empty window. You see, like right now I'm on the portfolio. I hold down the Shift, hit F12. Then the main dashboard window comes up.
Yeah, it would be nice if the pop-up had the file and the dashboard and the windows and sources as choices at the top. Just
that's not going to happen because the machinery is not. The pop-up dashboard is not a window; it's just kind of a floating. That doesn't have all the machinery needed for the file menu. The file menu is actually part of the ribbon control, which you may have seen like in Microsoft.
Oh, right. We talked about that. But
right.
Could it be a box inside of it?
Yeah, that just can't kind of defeats the purpose of the dashboard. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff in here is actually getting updated in background, and we don't want to have that updating in the background on 100 different windows. It's a performance drain.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's. So yeah, we can't do that one. Sorry. All right. I guess next question.
I'm going back and seeing if I missed. How can I remove the values of the red and green lines on the right of the clear lines? So that's under it's the values on the clear lines. I can show them how to do that later. I know how to do it. They just have to go to the indicator and then remove the values for the clear lines. I'll show it. You know how now double click on clear lines. Whoops. Yeah. So uncheck show current value.
Right. So
and that'll remove because it puts the values off to the right side. There's really no need for that.
Right. You're just talking about these? Right. So
the price values, yeah. Right.
You notice anything you make, any changes you make in this, in the indicator parameter values take effect immediately, so you kind of see what's going to happen, before hitting OK. Same thing with colors.
But that's what they need to uncheck, is that under the parameters for the clear lines.
Yep.
What else? Any other big questions, guys? I don't want to take too much more of Jerry's time. So is there another? We'll take a couple more questions for Jerry. And I will. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you guys are very busy, and maybe in another week or two, as people have continued to work with the platform, maybe we can bring you back in and do another session. Rand says, I had a question on the horizontal bars on some of my charts. What was the question, Rand? I wonder if we're talking about the grid lines behind it. Let me look back and see if I can see his question.
Being able to turn them off?
Yeah, I need to. I have horizontal bars extending from the left side of one of the charts. What are they indicating? They're extended horizontal lines.
I am not sure what horizontal bars would extend to the...
You might have an indicator or something that's extending. Maybe that's what it is that he's turned on. I don't really know.
Bars on the left.
Bars from the left.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I have a... if he's getting data from Yahoo, Yahoo data doesn't give you a whole lot of intraday quotes. So what happens is the lines drop off. I think that's probably what he's getting. Have you noticed that? Yahoo only gives you like 3 days of intraday. Oh, he says no, it's MBT, not Yahoo. Okay, I don't know.
By any chance, like a hashed display on the far left?
Oh, maybe he's showing after hours data. Maybe that's what it is.
It could be. One sec. Let me zoom out and then. For example, like this. The only other thing we have is if you've had Medved Trader for more than a month, and you do not have an MB trading account, and you did not sign up for paid subscription, then the charts are restricted to, I think, 2 days, and beyond 2 days, it might show basically like a kind of like a hashed display, but not showing the actual lines. That may be what you're seeing. Otherwise, I'm not sure, in which case you can just email us a picture. And
I think it's an indicator, Mike is saying.
Yeah,
it might be an indicator.
I'm not sure.
The Medikit Kid Lindsay says, when I have my scroll on the screen, I can't move it to the top of the screen. The scroll.
What is scroll?
I must be missing some setting. Which scroll? I'm not sure what he's referring to. Crosshairs on the chart. Oh, how do they turn off the crosshairs on the chart?
We have a couple of different places which you can do that. One way, well, first of all, if you hold down, if they're set to always show, you hold down the shift key, they're not showing. Okay, so right now I'm holding the shift key. By default, right now I have it set to always show.
Yeah.
Notice right now they're sticking to the candles, right? If I hold down the control shift, it's free floating. To turn off automatic, to make it so they don't always show, on the Crosshair box, which by the way you can move anywhere you want, there's a little gear icon. You can click on that and uncheck always show. Now I'm not holding any key down. The crosshair is not moving. If I hold down the shift key, now it's showing. Okay? I can turn it back on to always show by holding the shift key, and when I see that gearbox going back there. The other option is in the application settings under General tab. We have tracing. You can specify always trace, and when tracing, what the default is, freestyle or snap to candles.
Yeah, I like snap to candles.
So if you change that here, it's the same as changing it in the globals.
If they make the change on one chart, does that carry through to all the charts, or only on the one chart on that little pop-up?
All showing is for everything. So yeah, for example, yeah, that affects all charts. So for example, right here, they're showing. If I hold down the shift, it's not showing on any. Note you can synchronize crosshairs, same as you can synchronize symbols. So it's keeping the crosshair at the same time on both charts, even if the charts show a completely different time period.
Oh, that's interesting. And those are two different charts, actually.
And that can be synchronized with the time and sales. So she has
that's way over my
chart,
head, Jerry.
It's and vice versa. So see, as I move on the time and sales, it's showing you where it is on the chart. Cool, huh?
Very cool. This is what I'm saying. You guys, your platform is amazing because there's so many cool things you can do with it. It's like on steroids, you know. It's almost overwhelming. There's so many great things you can do with it. It's that process you got to go through and figure it out and learn it. And you guys have videos on your YouTube page. I know Mike posted the link to it. But you guys have a YouTube page with a lot of videos on how to use the platform.
Right. If you don't remember where, if you forget the link, you can always get to, if you go to medvedtrader.com/YouTube, that's just a quick shortcut. They'll get you to it. Or if you're on our website, under support. Oh my God, we don't have YouTube on here. Okay,
you do.
I'll have to add YouTube on here.
You have it at the top of your page, though. You have it at the top of the page.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could. Yeah, we have it on the top. You're right. I forgot. See, sometimes, you know, I haven't touched that in a while. So if you hit YouTube on the top of the page, that takes you here, and we have a bunch of videos for how to do stuff, and we'll be adding more. I'll have to get the whip out to get Mike to do a few.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
All right. What?
All right.
Let's take one more question, and then I'm going to let these guys go. They've been with us for almost an hour and a half now. So One more question. The next question that comes through, you're the winner. So better type quick. I don't have a question yet. Sorry. I'm waiting for one more. Do I need to enable API checked?
Most likely not. What that question is, I assume you're referring to Medved Trader's API. We have in settings, we have an API. Unless you're, put it this way, if you have to ask, no. What that is for is we have our own API to let others from Excel or from other developers be able to through our API, and that's what that checkbox is for. Basically, vast majority of the clients do not need to enable that.
Okay, very good. All right, I think that's it. If Mike wants to hang out for a little bit and answer some more questions, just in the chat box, Mike, if you don't mind for a few minutes answering questions, that would be great. But again, I want to say thank you, Jerry, and Mike for being here and helping out and answering questions. And I again want to thank you both also for all the hard work you've done over the last several weeks so that I could get the Clear Lines indicator available to the Wise Trade community. We're 1 week now since Wise Trade went away, and I know there's a lot of people that are loving the indicator and loving the platform, and it's just that it's a learning curve, and I think in the first week we've done very well. A lot of people are already making trades and making money, so it is working for a lot of people. But thank you to both of you guys for getting us where we are today. I really appreciate you.
No problem. If you get a bunch of questions built up, let me know. I can jump in some other, another day and do another quick session. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the screen back here real quick. Hold on, let me pop my screen up and so you guys should see my screen now.
Yeah, I just yep.
There we go.
I just got out.
All right.
All right. I am off. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.